Folks, good evening and welcome back to this week's edition of the Snakebite. I'm John Kristovich with James Simpson saying thank you so much for tuning in with us here at FSC TV. Boy, another big week in Mocs Athletics. A couple big matchups tonight on the road, and then, boy, crossover season at home. We reach its full glory this weekend. Here is this week's edition of the Snakebite. As I mentioned, it is officially crossover season, and as such, we've had a busy week in Mocs Athletics. Let's go ahead and get up our weekly rundown of scores from this past week. As you see on your screen there, a nice weekend for baseball this past weekend. Men's and women's basketball splitting their matchups against Embry-Riddle. The swim teams at the Sunshine State Conference Championships, and a whole host of others. Let's kick things off. Men's basketball, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into some hoops. The Mocs men had a strong showing this weekend versus Embry-Riddle in a 98-75 win here at home. The win is largely in part due to yet another stellar performance by redshirt sophomore guard Jaden Booth, who led the way with 35 points, coming just a week after posting 38 in a win over Tampa. The team as a whole played great basketball, dishing out 20 assists in the blowout victory. With the win, the Mocs clinched home court advantage in the first round of the SSC tournament, which will begin next Tuesday. We had the chance to catch up with Jaden after the team's fifth straight win.
All right, Jaden, another superstar performance, man. 35 points. What's going through your head tonight?
I'm just very grateful, just been putting a lot of work in this last offseason. My teammates trust me, my coaches trust me, but all glory to God, man. This is awesome. Hopefully we can just keep this thing going, man.
Is it something different? I mean, 37 points against Tampa, now 35 tonight. Something changed, or has it been this way all season long?
I seriously just got to give the credit to God, man. I've just put the work in each and every day, and I let him do the rest. So hopefully people see him through me tonight. I'm just super grateful, man. That's all I can say.
Well, it's paid off now, 5 straight wins. You guys have guaranteed a home playoff game. How's that feel?
Feels great. That was a big emphasis this week. We knew what we were playing for, and we want a little revenge from last year and be able to host 2 games come conference tournament time. So that's a huge win for us.
Jaden, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Mocs maintain their second place ranking in the Sunshine State Conference and will return to play tonight as they turn their attention to third place St. Leo. With a win, the team clinches the second seed in the SSC.
And the women's team, they fell to Embry-Riddle 57-51. They've now lost 4 out of their 5 last Sunshine State Conference matchups, hitting a bit of a rut in their late portion of the schedule. In the loss, though, the Mocs were led by freshman Amari Jackson's 13 points. She set a new career high in both points and rebounds in the loss. Over the course of the last 2 games, Jackson has averaged 10 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. Certainly seen an increase in involvement these past couple games as the Mocs look to gather steam heading into the postseason, which, by the way, they have punched their ticket already. They will match up against St. Leo tonight on the road, hoping to bounce back as the 6th-ranked team in the SSC. Like I said, they've clinched a spot in the Sunshine State Conference tournament, but will play on the road to start things next Tuesday.
While the women will return to Jenkins Fieldhouse this weekend for senior night, we'll also see the return of a certain women's team just outside of the Jenkins Fieldhouse. And that's right, the women's lacrosse team makes their grand return to Barron Field this weekend after a phenomenal weekend in North Carolina that saw them beat 2 ranked opponents. On Friday afternoon, the Mocs downed number 23 ranked Mount Olive by the strength of 5 different players recording hat tricks, including newcomers Jackie Stoller and Gianna Murphy. Then, on Saturday, the team battled a very, very tough Wingate team, eventually defeating the 13th ranked Bulldogs 14-12, as Murphy posted her 2nd hat trick in as many games. They're back in action this Friday night for their home opener, taking on number 2 ranked Adelphi.
Well, James, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get any easier, does it? Ranked opponent after ranked opponent, and that'll be the case for the men's team as well. They, too, return to play home after a 2-week hiatus to take on number 12 ranked Limestone University. 2 teams played each other last year, with the Saints coming out on top 11-10 and an absolute barn burner up in Gaffney, South Carolina. It's always a treat when these 2 get together. A lot of connections between the clubs, the most notable being that Mocs head coach Marty Ward's alma mater is indeed Limestone. Florida Southern is 2-1 on the young season. They were most recently ranked 18th in the country, according to the United States Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association.
This past weekend, the softball team traveled down south to battle it out with Barry University. And the Lady Mocs, they did fall 2-0 in Game 1 on Friday, but split the doubleheader on Saturday to close out the Sunshine State Conference opening series. Senior Kelsey Peck once again was the catalyst for the Mocs as she scored and picked up an RBI to lead her team to a 3-1 victory in the second game of the series. Mel Rogers pitched a complete game, allowing 4 hits and just 1 earned run to boost the Mocs defensively. The team moves to 4-5 overall after going 1-2 in the first conference series of the year. Good news for FSC as the Lady Mocs have a long 16-game streak at home coming up starting this weekend when they face Eckerd College.
On the other diamond, the baseball team spent their second weekend in a row on the road in the Peach State of Georgia, this time taking on Georgia College. Mocs picked up their first series sweep of the season, taking all 3 contests on the road. Game 1 was a thriller as the Mocs staged a late game comeback to defeat the home Bobcats 6-5. And as this group starts to find the rhythm on the field, they're proving to be a force to be reckoned with, a sentiment on full display during Game 2 as the Mocs breezed past GCSU 13-3. Mitch D'Onofrio set the tone early, hitting a grand slam in the first inning to give the Mocs a lead that they would not relinquish in Game 2. Game 3 only solidified the dominance the Mocs showed in the first 2 matchups as Florida Southern used a 3-run second inning to cruise to a 9-1 victory on Sunday afternoon. Mocs' early road trip continues for just one more weekend as they take on Eckerd College in St. Petersburg for their first SSC series of the season.
The track team closed up their inaugural season of indoor track this past weekend on Thursday. Alex Guy dropping a 1:53.800, the fastest time this year, and Christian Giller showing out across the 3,000 meters, running the time in 8:38.60. That is a new freshman record. And Emma Musante performing well on the indoor track in the 3K, 10:43.85. The outdoor season opener, they pulled double duty, turned around, and went on Saturday back to University of Tampa with a pair of 356 1,500 meters from Alex Guy and freshman Anthony Matthew, just narrowly nipping on the heels of that freshman 1,500 meter record. Bryson Yamnitz and Owen Allen showed out well across the 3K as well, running a time of 8:28 and 8:29 respectively, and Ellie Fluman just 3 seconds short of toppling her own record across the 3K with a time of 10:21.
Inaugural indoor track season, James, and appears to be pretty successful. Well, we are coming at you now with SSC championship results from this past weekend for both the men's and women's swim teams. Teams finished 3rd and 4th respectively with 5 individual championships in the conference. Matteo Zampisi took gold in the 200 individual medley, the 100 breast, and the 200 breast, and his 200 individual medley time was also an NCAA A standard time, so he will be indeed heading to the NCAA championships. Kyle McAuliffe took 2 individual championships in the 50 and 100 free. His 50 free time of 19:54 set a school and conference record, and he also achieved an A standard time, so we'll be seeing him at the championships as well. Team of Brandon Wilson, Cameron Lai Harris, Elder Oliveira, and Kyle McAuliffe took the 200 individual medley championship at the SSCs, and the women performed well too, highlighted by Alizzy Pelletier's silver medal in the 200 breast. For more in-depth results and commentary, visit FSC Mocs for recaps of each day of the championship. But remember, the swim team is not done yet. They're looking ahead to the NCAA championships. At the time of production today, the NCAA has not released the qualifying list for the national championship, but that information should be available at ncaa.org before the day's end.
The women's golf recently competed in the Lady Moc Invitational just yesterday, where they placed 3rd in rounds 1 and 2 before capping off the final round of play with a 4th place finish in the 18-team tournament. In round 1, grad student Lauren Perez nailed one of the lone eagles for the Mocs, while senior Lacey Tucker hit 3 over 147, hitting 18 pars, 6 birdies, and 1 eagle. Things did not stop there, though, for Perez and Tucker as they continued their pursuit to climb the rankings with more impressive performances. Perez, who entered the tournament 85th in the country, finished 2nd, shooting 5 under 211 for the tournament. Tucker finished her 2-day performance with a 17th place finish, hitting 6 over 222 for the number 23 ranked Moccasins. The Lady Mocs will get a few weeks of break before swinging back into action on March 13th for the Peggy Kirk Memorial in Orlando, Florida.
Meanwhile, men's golf is set to resume play this coming Monday, February 27th in the Hurricane Invitational. The 2-day event will take place in Albany, Georgia at Double Gate Country Club, hosted by Georgia Southwestern. Mocs coming off of a season-best second-place finish in the Matlock Collegiate Classic thanks to an outstanding performance from breakout freshman Freddie Parlby, who tied for first on the leaderboard with Barry University's 13th nationally ranked Felipe Alvarez. As a program, the Mocs held off 13th-ranked Tampa, 2nd-ranked Barry, and a 5th-ranked West Florida team. Again, all those national rankings. They'll face the Spartans once again along with Flagler and Nova Southeastern, with live video coverage being offered on the Peach Belt Sports Conference Network.
Men's tennis bounced back after their tough loss last week versus Barry University to bring their win streak against the Eckhart Tritons to an impressive 19 straight matches and get their first conference win of the year in St. Petersburg this past Saturday. The Mocs dropped one single set as they came away with a 6-1 victory to begin their busy week of competition, which features 3 straight home matches at the Winnie Worden Tennis Center, including their match against Bates College yesterday. The Mocs put together a 6-1 victory, but it wasn't smooth sailing right away as they dropped all 3 doubles courts at the start of the match. However, the men showed resilience later on as they swept all 6 singles courts to bounce back from an early deficit and claim their win at home. But the grind does not stop for the boys as they play 2 tough Florida teams later in the week, with Rollins College at 3 p.m. on Thursday and number 4, Flagler College at 2 p.m. on Saturday, all right here at Florida Southern.
James, I'll tell you what, our tennis programs sure seem to have a busy week. We'll see the women's team compete in 3 matches over the course of this week. Unfortunately, they fell in conference competition to number 6-ranked Lynn University on the road. This past Saturday, they lost 6-1 in Boca Raton. They did bounce right back, though, against Bates College here in Lakeland with a 7-0 victory. The team dropped just one singular set on the day altogether for their first victory of this 2023 season. The win featured some great doubles play by duo Vivian Charatova and Neil Sunjic as they shut out their opponents for a 6-0 win on court number 2, as well as strong singles play all around for the women. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking for something to do at this very moment, and yes, I mean this very moment, you can catch the tail end of a top 25 national matchup between number 23 ranked Rollins College and, of course, your number 24 ranked Florida Southern Mocs at the Winnie Worden Tennis Center right here at Florida Southern. It is sure to be a down-to-the-wire battle for conference points as the women are looking to build momentum heading into another SSC matchup for their Friday afternoon bout versus Eckhart College over in St. Petersburg starting at 3 p.m.
This past Friday, the Florida State University hockey team traveled from Tallahassee to face off the Mocs in men's hockey. It's the first time that Florida Southern has played against FSU, and it was certainly a weekend to remember. On Friday, the Mocs were defeated with a score being 6-1, the one score from the Mocs side coming from Montana Gordon. However, on Saturday, the Mocs had another chance to play FSU, and they did not disappoint. The night started out looking like the one before as the Mocs were down 3-1 with Matthew Fromer scoring. Florida Southern mounted a big comeback in the third, though, with Drew Montanera and Fromer scoring to end the game to overtime. In the opening minute, Gavin Tryon scored, sending the FSC fans into a frenzy and securing a win for the Mocs, who are back at home this Friday against the University of Florida.
For our next coverage for the first time this year, and maybe in Snakebite history, we will have you hold your horses because, yes, we have equestrian on deck. They held their first ever Intercollegiate Horse Shows Association meet in Lakeland this past Saturday. It was a great show of support by the college and the Lakeland community. Several members of the Mocs Athletics team made appearances throughout the day. The equestrian team welcomed 12 other teams from across the region and the state to compete at their home base of the English Oaks Equestrian Center here in Lakeland. Ladies put together a team best performance on the season with 33 points to end the day with a 4th place finish overall, again out of 13 teams. The equestrian team continues their string of meets as the Mocs travel to the Florida State University Show in Tallahassee this weekend. And that brings us to our Week in Mocs History segment, and today we're looking at February 22nd, 2022. Yes, just 1 year ago today, the NCAA announced that February 22nd will be celebrated as D2 Day in the world of NCAA college athletics. And James, here we are, February 22nd, 2023. It is the 2nd annual D2 Day, and in case you missed it, you're going to want to check out our socials for our very special edition in honor of D2 Day. James and I look at the top 10 moments in Mocs and athletics over the course of the last 365 days. As always, John Kristovich with James Simpson saying thank you so much for tuning into FSC TV. Big night today, big weekend at home. We'll talk about all that more next week. We'll see you next Wednesday at 5. Cooked for a long stretch. Cooked.